The first one was the first time we were in Vegas, and it was marquee. Dash Berlin was playing, like the set was amazing, and we were right by this table, and it was full of like nurses, like just a whole. I don't know if they were a bachelor party or whatever the hell it was, but they told us they were just nurses and they were in town, and just living it up, right? And it was just me and my two friends and my friend's girlfriend, and we were just dancing the night away, because we're savages. We just go out, we dance, and we do all kinds of stuff. We're not the prissy people who just sit there with a champagne glass. But we're sitting there dancing and everything, and all of a sudden, like, they're just like, "Hey, come to our table, and we'll serve you drinks and stuff." And they just got like two big bottles of Belvedere and Grey Goose, and they were just making us drinks all night. So it was like freshly 21 and first time in a Vegas club, and I'm getting table service by like these older nurses. So that was a pretty wild time. The other time, we were in the same club, but this was like maybe a year after, and this guy or this guy had called me an asshole because he thought, like, I was trying to get a drink, and he goes, "Hey, look at this asshole," but he was looking at my best friend. He goes, "Why you call my best friend an asshole?" And I got into his face, and I'm like, "Why are you calling me an asshole?" And he like backed down. He's like, "Oh, no, it's fine. Let me buy you a drink." So before he could buy me a drink, this other girl comes and bumps my friend, and like he's like, "Oh, like excuse me," and she totally throws his drink at him, and he's covered in fucking just like strawberry daiquiri juice, whatever the hell it was, alcohol. It was funny because he's got a fucking temper on him, and he literally yells at the girl. He goes, and they're yelling back and forth, and he just like takes off his pants, just like in a drunken rage. He just like takes off his pants, and he's like, what?" And the security guard was just like, "What are you doing?" And like cleaned him up and everything. But they ended up kicking the girl out. So it helps to know people in Vegas. So when that kind of stupid shit happens,
Yeah, it does. But why did he take his pants off?
it's just this thing. He just like gets angry and has to take off his pants.
So he's just standing there in the middle of the club at the bar with his pants off, yelling at a chick.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's insane. Oh, that's insane. Yeah, and then you also got table service from a staff of nurses.
Yeah. So I
That had to be
mean,
nice.
yeah, I mean, I had just turned 21, maybe a couple months prior. It was my friend's birthday. He was 21. So it was definitely like an experience.
Yeah, no. Vegas, man, stories. People always have stories about Vegas. There's not one person that's gone to Vegas, unless they're those champagne people that you were talking about. But
Yeah.
there's nobody that goes to Vegas and they're like, yeah, it was all right. Except for right now. I will say right now. But I will say this: when lockdown first happened, like the actual one of the coolest experiences that I got to do was I got to longboard down the strip with some of my friends, and there was not a soul in sight. There's people on
Oh,
the
wow.
sidewalk walking, and it was one of the prettiest things ever. Like nothing going on, like basically like a ghost town on the strip. And like we were talking, like this will never happen again. Like this will never happen again. And so that was cool. And we took a photo, and I said witness history because like it was like this cool little like and this was actually before I started my podcast. So I didn't actually get to tell that story, but that was one of the coolest things I got to experience. And it was because of COVID. Not a big fan of code and all, but it was cool to